The next threshold concept I'm going to be talking about is writing is inquiry driven. So for this concept, all throughout the course we talked about how to evaluate sources, which ones were reliable, which ones may not be so reliable, and kind of the difference between inquiry research and maybe regular research. One day when we were starting this topic, she had us write down what do we typically think of when we think of like a research paper, and most people were telling like boring, awful, just spitting out facts, all that, which is true for most people. But inquiry is different. It's not just here's a topic, find me all the information you can on it and spit it back to me in a different way. Inquiry is more, what are you interested in? What do you want to learn about? What do you want to know about more? And I think that that was kind of the basis for all of our projects, not just the inquiry project, which of course was more focused in on it. But for all the projects, we had the option of choosing what we wanted to talk about. So we had that inquiry, that curiosity. The way we talked about them was obviously different for each project. The first one, we wrote an argumentative rhetorical analysis about it, but we still were curious about something. We researched it and we, talked about it, giving our opinion. And I think that's key to the inquiry part. It's not just spitting out facts, you're giving your opinion on the matter. So for the first project, we gave our opinion on how the piece uses rhetoric. For the second project, the remix, we kind of gave our opinion on what the new genre could be. So once again, we looked for a scholarly article that we were interested in, that we wanted to learn more about within our major, and we created that new genre based on what we thought would be relevant to the topic and a new audience that would be interested in it. Lastly, the inquiry project, of course, was related to writing is inquiry based because we started with a very broad topic related to our major and we learned how to complex it further and further. This, of course, was working with that idea of inquiry. So you have this question, but what can you learn more from, or what can come from this? And once we got our final very complex question, we had to compile 10 sources and find out how those sources connected, what ideas were being mentioned over and over again throughout various sources. And finally, we compiled our inquiry paper or digital composition of it, connecting all those sources, but also inputting our opinion in our explanation of these sources in there. And we also had to put a part in the conclusion, kind of how can we add to the conversation. For mine, I proposed possible solutions to the current issue with childhood obesity, and I kind of took the COVID spin on it because I was thinking about kids and how usually they're at school going outside to play recess, they're in gym class, they're getting that activity. Now they're at home cooped up in the house. It's getting colder now, kids don't want to be outside as much unless it's like a fun snow day. They're not getting that exercise, so it's obviously going to contribute to childhood obesity. And also, like, some kids were getting healthier breakfasts and lunches from more urban, lower income area schools. Now they're not getting those meals anymore. They might not even be getting those meals, which obviously wouldn't contribute to obesity, but the meals that they could be getting in place of those may not be as healthy. So I kind of talked about my maybe possible solutions, like introducing a part of their online curriculum that could teach them about healthy habits. So yeah, I think that all these different projects, while at the time may not have seemed like it, but they were all connecting to that concept of writing as inquiry driven.